Welcome to lesson 2 of the Flower of Scotland workshop. I'm Alec from getbagpipeready. I got a link below where you can access all the lessons to this workshop as well as some other workshops. In fact, if this lesson is too quick for you, my beginner bagpiping 101 workshop would be a good one to check out. I got some really good tips there in the free lessons of that workshop on how to properly hold the chanter. And I also got a link below for my Patreon community, so where I help you in more ways than just my YouTube videos, although you do get early access to those before they're published on YouTube, but you also get all these other great perks and other things, other ways I help you get bagpipe ready. So check out the Patreon community in the link below, and let's get going on lesson 2. We're starting off on that low A that we ended lesson 1 on. So that first crazy embellishment, the burl. We'll break that down in a bit, but I'm just going to give you the simplest thing we can do in replacement of a burl. So if you're not into doing embellishments, grace notes, doublings, torluath, crunluath, all the stuff, that's okay. You can still have a lot of fun on the chanter and eventually the bagpipes. So instead of doing this crazy burl, you can just simply do a finger tap or a strike with that pinky. So that bottom hand pinky finger is just going to cover the hole and come right off. And it's quick. We want to go quick, but you might have to start out slow. If you try to start out quick, you might just miss that hole altogether, and then you don't get that interruption of sound between those two low A's that we want. So let me demonstrate that. Pinky tap. So it's quick. It's just down and up. Now you might have to start off with it a little slower. It takes a while, especially all your fingers take a while to wake up, but that bottom pinky, it's got a bigger reach, it's a smaller finger. It takes a while to develop that muscle, so be patient with yourself. If you have to keep it slow for a while, that's okay. But eventually, we do want to just do a quick little tap. Now, if that little tap, if you're acing it, maybe you pause the video and worked on it for 3 days, or maybe you're a natural. But if you're acing that quick tap, you could do a double tap. So that double tap, don't think of raising your pinky up all the way each time. You just come down on the hole, you barely lift, you'd come down again and then up. So if I do slow motion, it's like I come down, barely up, down, up. Now that's not a true burl, but that gives you that kind of double sound that, you know, we're trying to mimic that burl, but have it a bit easier. So while we're at it, let's just chat about the burl as well. We'll hit all 3 options here. So the burl, there's a few ways to do it. I'll teach you the way I do it, the way I was taught when I was a wee lad. Keeping that pinky finger fairly straight, I swipe down across the hole, and then I come back up. When I come back up, my finger might even just do a little bit of a bend or curl. Not crazy, just a little bit, just so I can come back across that hole even quicker. The other thing that happens is it's like my whole hand is helping push that pinky down and bring it back. My hand isn't rigid and making that pinky finger do all that movement on its own. No, my hand almost with my forearm, it's almost like pushing that pinky down and pulling that pinky back. So it's kind of a whole hand is involved with that. So that's how I do the burl. The other thing that I was taught when I was little is that an old pipe major's wives' tale or what, but if your pinky is not quick enough, you can get it to slide a bit by getting a little bit of forehead wax, we would call it. I'm sure it's not wax. Or behind the ear. So getting a little bit more slippery on that finger can make that burl come out a lot nicer. So that's probably enough burl talk, but you do have those three options. The single tap, the double tap, or the full out burl, the slide back and forth. So it's up to you which one you'd like to do. I'm going to just demonstrate this lesson 2 chunk of music with that single tap for now, and then I'll demonstrate the burl a little bit later on. So that's without embellishments, and we'll add in that D throw and that E doubling in a moment. But let's go through the notes without embellishments now that we got those burl options out of the way. So we're already on low A. We do our finger tap. After our finger tap, we're going from low A up to D. And we talked a lot about that transition last time, so I won't break that down in detail, but if it's a little bit confusing, go back to lesson 1, learn that. Remember that doorknob that we talked about in lesson 1? So we do the finger tap, then we go up to D. This is a bit of a new transition. Now in lesson 1 we did D to E. We talked about that transition back and forth. This time, very similar, we're going D up to F. So that's a good one to practice. Let's talk about the finger movement for a second. We're on D. We drop down to that low A position. You've done that before, easy peasy. And if it's not easy peasy, one day it will be. Just keep working at it. The top hand, instead of lifting up one finger to the E, we're lifting up 2 fingers to the F. So just our top finger's on and our thumb is still on the back. The next note, truly an easy transition, just bringing down that middle finger. Bottom hand stays in the low A position. So that's our last note transition. So here's that lesson 2 chunk of music with no embellishments other than that single pinky tap in place of the burl. One more time, a little slower, then we'll do embellishments. Good. So let's talk about embellishments. We do have a D throw. So that D throw, we're coming from the low A this time. So first half of the D throw, we just drop the pinky down to low G. Then we do that D grace note. The D grace note again is the top finger of the bottom hand. Second half of the D throw, we're already on low G. We go up to C, we go up to D. So put those 2 halves together. And then speed it up. Now the speed on the D throw does take some time, but having the proper movement is important. And I should mention, there are different ways to do D throws. Like that would be considered more a light D throw, perfectly acceptable. I'm just going to teach you the way my fingers do it automatically. So if you're watching my videos, this is the way I've taught you, because that's the way I'll do it in my videos, just so you don't get too confused. But if you have a different way you've done a D throw or been taught a D throw, perfectly acceptable. It's an embellishment that gets a lot of leeway compared to other embellishments. So if you already have a D throw you like and you want to stick with that, you've been taught it, I'm not going to write you any angry letters. So here we go. After that D throw, no embellishment, up to the F. But from the F down to the E, we have a doubling. Our first doubling of the song. So we're on the F, we have to go down to the E. Our first grace note of that doubling is going to be a G grace note. So the top finger lifts first. Then we bring down the second finger. Top finger comes down. That's the first half of the doubling. Second half of the doubling, we're already on the E, and we're just going to go up and down with that middle finger. So we put the first half together with the second half. And then if we tighten it up a bit, and then the speed, again, like the D throw, the speed can take a little while, but make sure you have those finger mechanics right. So let me just play through this chunk with the embellishments here for you, and then maybe I'll give you the whole first line after that. But again, check out the links below, access the workshop, get all the perks and early videos from my Patreon community. Both links are there for you, and I can't wait to see you in lesson 3. Here's the first line again.